right, hey, what is up, y'all? I want to talk a little bit today about how to implement mindfulness, or the skill, the tools that you cultivate during meditation, which we would call mindfulness, in your everyday life. And I always think it's very useful to come back to the reason that we're trying to do something like a meditation or mindfulness practice. Even though I feel like it's, for a lot of us when we first start out, it's very confusing what we want out of it. Well, you know what I wanted out, I thought it was going to be a silver bullet. I can tell you that. Like, I thought when I get meditation figured out, then that's going to take my life to the next level. I was imagining this Zen Buddha, monk-looking guy that was just like impervious to, difficulties and sadness and stuff like that. I felt like meditation was going to be the silver bullet that made me happy all the time. And I feel like a lot of us kind of approach it like that. We're looking at a lot of things that we do to improve ourselves and our health. We feel like it's going to be this next thing that fixes us to some degree. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it motivates us to try these new things, but just having an understanding of what it actually does, I think, is really useful. But again, connecting with our vision, what is it that we want from a meditation and mindfulness practice? Most of us want more happiness. We want some calm, some peace, some clarity, the ability to withstand and endure some difficult situations, right? Something along those lines, probably. The key to meditation and mindfulness is understanding what it is that we're actually doing during our sitting session, and understanding what it is that is going to show up in our life as a result of constant, repetitive, daily sitting, okay? Once we understand what it is that we're doing, the skill that we're cultivating, and what to look for as far as what's going to show up in our life, I think then it becomes a lot easier to implement in our daily life because we know what to expect, right? So like many of you, I started out on my meditation mindfulness practice journey a long time ago, reading a ton of books, just looking for the answer, looking for the silver bullet, looking for the key. And it took a while for me to really understand what was happening. And that only came through daily repetitive sitting. And of course, questioning what it was I was doing, whether I was doing the right thing, listening to books, reading books, attending seminars and workshops and certifications and things like that. But not to discourage you from reading and learning from different sources, because I think that's really useful. But I look back now and I realize I didn't need any of that. What I needed to do was just commit to a daily practice, or most days. And when you do that consistently, something comes out of that. Like, you have some kind of a realization, and it's very similar, I think, to working out. A lot of times, some of us will embark on some kind of a new workout program or do some new movements or something. They feel very uncomfortable. We're not sure if we're doing it right. But through repetition, through some coaching, through some concepts and things like that, like, we start to get more and more comfortable with it. And it's the same thing here. What I noticed was, once I understood what it was that I was looking for during a sitting session, what I was trying to do, then without me even trying, awareness started to show up in my life automatically. Presence started to show up automatically. And then when I started to notice that, then when I implemented an intention to use the skill that I cultivated during meditation, then the results just took off exponentially. And sometimes it's surreal for me to sit and think about where I was, where I am now, things that happen to me on a daily basis from an awareness standpoint. I don't take it for granted, but it's just a part of who I am. So sometimes I have to sit and pause and really think about, like, okay, wow, this is actually a really neat, cool skill that's very, very useful and adds to my happiness. So I want to give you a few tips and also invite you to a meditation mindfulness meeting that we have this coming Saturday. And it is implementing mindfulness in everyday life. And this is a follow-up to a Zoom call that we had a couple weekends ago, and it was really great, dynamic, a lot of good conversation. And this is also something that's a standalone class, or a standalone get-together is really what it is. It's not meant to be me sitting there talking the whole time. It's meant to be very dynamic and interactive, which is what it was last time. I know it will be this time. It's going to be great. So what we'll be covering at this is a refresher of what we're doing with meditation and mindfulness, what we're actually doing during a sitting session, and then some things that we need to consider using throughout the day to use the skill that we're cultivating during meditation, which is what we call mindfulness. We're going to talk about what to look for, what things are going to show up in your life, and how to have an intention of using that skill that you cultivate so that you can see these results, increase exponentially versus them just showing up, which they will. Okay. When I first started out, first of all, I was unclear about what I was doing. It took some time to figure it out. I think now it's very useful to be able to hear from someone who's been through that process, what it is that we're trying to actually do, in very simple, easy to understand concepts. And when I started out, I questioned whether it was something that I could do, whether I could actually sit for 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes at a time, I also questioned whether my current lifestyle would allow me to do this, because I have a pretty regimented, and also chaotic life like everybody else, So, and the answer to all those questions is yeah, absolutely. Like just learning this stuff, understanding what it is that you're looking for during a sitting session, understanding what to look for to show up in your life as a result of that daily sitting, and also having this intention to use that skill that you cultivate during meditation. I think everyone's going to be blown away at the results they get from this. So, this is a free meeting. It's going to be about an hour long, and if all this did was add just a little bit more happiness to your daily life, then wouldn't it be worth an hour of your time? I think so, right? So, a lot of you know that I recently did a backpacking trip up in the Sawtooth Mountains. It was a life-changing experience. It was filled with a lot of challenges and difficulties and great moments and beauty, a combination of everything, just like life, right? And because of my meditation and mindfulness practice, I was able to be there and experience that experience in its fullest, every bit of it. The ups, the downs, the challenges, the beauty. I was not in my head as much as I would have been if I didn't have this skill. And that's what I want for everyone that learns from us. So hope to see you guys there. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, or snide remarks, send them our way.